You'd sell to fiat if you want to spend it. You go to a stable coin if you want to stay in the ecosystem and deploy your capital at a later date. And you would buy an altcoin because you're chasing future profits. That's important. At my target, I'm selling half of my BTC and ETH. That's going into fiat. I also have altcoins and an allocation. When those altcoins really roar, I'm going to replenish my BTC and ETH stack. We're moving the riskiest assets to less risky assets. So we're moving BTC and ETH to cash, which is less risky. We're moving altcoins to BTC and ETH. You keep moving down the stack to de-risk that and keep your profits.
Welcome back to the Ben Bergs podcast. I'm Ben, your favorite high school dropout and founder of Collective Shift. Alongside me is Bergs, your favorite MBA and COO of Collective Shift. Join us as we bring you world-class crypto research and strategies to help you dominate this crypto bull market, as well as a behind-the-scenes look at us scaling a fully remote subscription research business in Australia. Just quietly, Bergs, that's way better than that. Guys, we got a new intro. If you didn't pick that up, we've been working on that. That's way better.
Love it, mate. It's music to my ears.
Amazing. Guys, we've got a cracker episode for you today. The bull market is confirmed, why this time is different, and how to win this cycle. It's been an epic couple of weeks, Bergs. Well, I mean, it's been an epic year. Bitcoin is up 158% year to date, and the last couple of weeks, Bitcoin has rallied. So we're recording this at the time of recording. Bitcoin's at just a tick over 44,000 US dollars. We're going to be talking about why the Bitcoin market's confirmed, how it impacts you, and why I believe this cycle is going to be absolutely face melting, because the foundations of this cycle is so much different to previous cycles, which we're going to talk about. And for a lot of you that haven't been through a full cycle, this is a really important episode to listen to. And even those that have been through a cycle or two and haven't made the money that you want to, listen to this episode, because everything we've been harping on about now for years are finally starting to come true. And you can truly make life-changing amounts of money this cycle if you're patient enough and if you play this cycle correct. Because everything's playing out exactly as how we'd hoped. And honestly, it's just fucking exciting, Bergs. How are you finding it? You bought some BTC recently, mate. You're green pretty quick.
Oh, yeah. In the green, massively, mate. So tipped some money in. Average buy price was about 35 to 37K. We're now at 44K. Happy shappy. And it's amazing just to see it play out. I woke up the other day and I think Bitcoin was like 39K. I woke up at 6:30 in the morning, and that second it tipped over. I was like, oh, let's go.
Mate.
And now it's like 3 days later, already at 44K, another 10% in. This is what happens in a bull market. This is just the beginning of it, mate.
Like, there's a few things that just life is just so much better. One, this podcast is seemingly much more enjoyable to create when crypto's going up, because it's not like we're harping on about, telling people it's going to go up and waiting when it's finally going up. Two, just seeing social media across the board start to build up. Like, I've been doing some content more on Instagram recently, and I've had 2 videos that have crossed 100,000 views. And the shares on these things are just unbelievable. Like, you could just tell people are back interested. They're sharing it with their friends. People are excited again. And I just love keeping receipts of everyone that told me and told us we were wrong, mate. Because we're idiots in a bear market, but geniuses in a bull market. So I can't wait to go and remind those people.
What about all those lads and lasses, mate, that left Web3, pivoted to AI, and are now coming back to Web3?
I love it, mate. Just check out their LinkedIn bio. Went from crypto to NFTs to AI, now back to crypto. Unbelievable. It's amazing.
It's great. Just chasing trends, mate.
It's great to see them back. Great to see the local experts back.
Oh, sign up to my newsletter.
For my new podcast. But there's a few things I want to touch on just to begin with in terms of these foundations that we're talking about. If you look at, and I mean, we're doing this full time, right? As a crypto research company, we see the data firsthand, so we get a great insight. The Google Trends, the sentiment, the new users signing up to exchanges, which we're speaking to, it's all telling us that we're still very early in this bull market due to the amount of retail investors that are coming in. So in comparison to, like, let's say the 2017 bull market or the 2021 bull market, the retail interest from a sentiment perspective is probably only about 10% of where it has been in previous cycles. And I fully expect this cycle to be way bigger than previous cycles in terms of retail interest. So to think where we are right now is predominantly led by institutional money. And we can see this backed on some of the more institutional grade products that's out there. I can't remember the report exactly, but seeing the inflows coming in on chain primarily from institutions hasn't been seen at this level ever before. And that's what's most exciting. Even if you look at Michael Saylor, right, just bought another 16,000 Bitcoin. I think he owns close to 1% of the total Bitcoin supply, which is insane. He's just conviction. He's unbelievable. I think he's up to a $2.1 billion unrealized profit as of current pricing. Like, he's going to be, he's going to go down in history, mate. It's just like, The Big Short, like, there's going to be a movie made about him.
Oh, unbelievable. And he's just buying more and he's never going to sell. He's like, everyone's going to come in. It's going to take 20 or so years. I'm going to rent my Bitcoin to them, but I'm never selling. His narratives were amazing. If you want to listen to a good Michael Saylor podcast, they've actually released on Crypto Curious. Good friends of ours, Tracy interviewed him at the Oz Crypto Conference. Absolutely cracking podcast. Go and listen to that as well. You'll just learn so much. It was amazing.
The other one is a really good indicator of retail interest is Coinbase, the app. They're the biggest exchange. How many downloads that's getting, and in previous cycles it was like hitting number one on the App Store. Right now it's still way down the charts. So from a retail interest, we're seeing that quite low. So we go, okay, well, what's actually driving this retail interest? What's actually driving the price up right now? Well, for me, one, this is just pricing in the Bitcoin ETF being approved. It has not been approved yet, but I think this is really starting to price that in, as well as we've had some uncertainty removed in the market over the last few months, with Binance being one of the biggest regulatory uncertainty players in the space. Now the SEC sort of wiped their hands on that. There's been a huge retracement of uncertainty in the market, and markets like certainty. So that's been, a really big winner. And as well as we've got the Bitcoin halving coming up in April. Now that hasn't really hit mainstream media yet, but it will. And what's going to happen, Bergs, is there's going to be more and more people start to question and start to educate themselves. One of the biggest things that I believe will bring in this next wave of adoption, which I've always spoken about, is price, because price is what makes people most excited. When something's going up, people are interested. When something's going down and sideways, no one gives a flying for who's up. But when it's going up, people start asking questions, and people start asking their friends and start researching, and that's when the education comes in, and that's when people get that conviction.
Absolutely, mate. And really what we're seeing on the inside is, a lot of crypto Twitter has woken up. Like, they're very active, they're talking now, but that is not the mainstream. That's not even 1% of people.
Yeah.
Like, this hasn't reached, your family, your friends, everyone else. I haven't really seen in the news reporting on Bitcoin yet. And you've been listening to this podcast, you know the story, you know how it goes. You will be rewarded for being in this. And this just hasn't even kicked off yet. All of these things, even things like, ETF and Ethereum ETF, all the things that are yet to happen, the halving is yet to happen. People say, oh, this is priced in. I don't think they've seen anything. Like, think about, you have a product, right? And how do you get more customers? You need to advertise for that product. That hasn't happened yet. The way that happens for normal people that aren't generally in crypto, or people that are left, is through the media. The media hasn't picked up any of this, and it's already kicking off. Can you imagine where we will be when all of these things happen and the media starts reporting on it, and then all those companies that are involved through ETFs start reporting on it? It is going to be face melting.
Yeah, great points, Bergs. The other side of this, however, is we've run up extremely fast, extremely quickly. So one of the things that we do need to be aware of, although I'm not really concerned about, is that if the Bitcoin ETF doesn't get approved. Now, the date that we're looking for those Bitcoin ETFs to be approved is in early January. If the Bitcoin ETF was to be not approved, then I'd suspect a pretty deep pullback on crypto broadly. So something to keep in mind, that pretty much everything is priced it in to happen. And I think it's most likely going to happen, probably 80% plus likelihood that's going to be approved. But on the flip side, if it doesn't get approved, I would suspect a pretty deep pullback.
Absolutely. The market likes certainty, and the certainty is around this event happening, which is the ETF getting approved. It's going to happen at some point in time. We've got an indication of a date range where it will happen. If it doesn't, the market won't like it, because it's uncertainty, it's negative sentiment, and you will see a pullback.
Totally, Bergs. Now, the other thing to remember is, as we head into the halving event, what should you hold? Predominantly Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins. How does the market usually work? Well, Bitcoin usually leads the market, and then capital will flow from that asset into altcoins and lower cap coins. So if you're holding predominantly BTC and ETH now, you're in a really good position. I probably wouldn't be increasing your exposure to altcoins just yet, because I think that's going to start to occur over the next few months as money starts to rotate in. And remember that these bigger institutions are not buying anything lower than probably Ethereum. They're pretty much only buying Bitcoin and Ethereum. So, the alts will only really rally based off retail interest, which is still, not here yet. So remember that. Stay patient if you have altcoins. Don't start going chasing and rotating in and out. I know a lot of people see these altcoins being rallied. I mean, the gaming sector has been one that's just absolutely lit up, which we're going to do an episode on. But don't go chasing. Stay patient. It's one of the biggest lessons we've been trying to share with you on this podcast for a long time now, is have conviction and hold for a long period of time. Don't go chasing because you see coins rallying over the next few months.
Don't go chasing waterfalls. Please stick to the rivers and lakes that you used to. Good old TLC. And let's just talk about why that actually happens, why Bitcoin and ETH generally lead, and why altcoins then pump. Because if you think about it, in any asset, if it appreciates quite significantly in value, you then have profit there. If you're going to take that profit, in crypto, you can do it in a couple of ways. You can sell to fiat dollars, or you could sell to another stable coin, or you could sell into an altcoin. And why would you do each of those? You'd sell to fiat if you want to spend it. You go to a stable coin if you want to stay in the ecosystem and deploy your capital at a later date. And you would buy an altcoin because you're chasing future profits. So they're the three areas that generally, when you have profits in BTC and ETH, that money will flow into. So when things are really pumping and they're pumped in one certain area and it hasn't happened in others, that capital will flow to those other areas to have that opportunity to gain more capital. And that's when we see altcoins really roar and do crazy things.
Great point, Bergs. And another thing to think about in terms of your portfolio is, what are you trying to optimize for? Like, are you trying to optimize for Australian dollars, US dollars? Are you trying to build your Bitcoin stack? For me, I'm looking to optimize in Australian dollars over the next 12 months, 24 months, but there may be some plays where I rotate some of my altcoins into, once they start rallying, back into stacking my ETH or Bitcoin stack, because my percentage diversification will become a lot more heavier in your altcoins. It's important to remember that as your altcoins rally, it is very likely that you're going to get a lot higher percentage total allocation to your altcoins. So you need to remember and understand whether you want to then rotate that out into cash, or you want to put that to build up your Bitcoin stack for a longer period of time. So it really just depends on your goals.
That's important. So I have my target. At my target, I'm selling probably half of my BTC and ETH. That's going into fiat. I also have altcoins and an allocation there as well. When those altcoins really roar, I'm going to replenish my BTC and ETH stack.
Amazing. And for me, pretty similar. I'm going to be moving some of my altcoins into cash once I hit my targets, but I might also start to build up my Bitcoin stack so I can have a larger holding of BTC, which I'll then sell again closer to the market cycle top, but also hold a larger percentage of Bitcoin during the bear market, because in a bear market, I don't want to be holding alts.
Exactly. And if you think about what Ben and I have just talked about, we're moving the riskiest assets to less risky assets. So we're moving BTC and ETH to cash, which is less risky. We're moving altcoins to BTC and ETH, which is less risky than altcoins. So you keep moving down the stack to de-risk that and keep your profits and not have them at risk.
Brilliant. And the other thing to just remember is, this bull market is confirmed. As we've spoken about before, the bull market Pico top is historically between 12 and 16 months after the Bitcoin halving event, which would put us 12 to 16 months after April 2024. So you're talking, early 2025 to mid 2025 is historically where the top of the bull market will be, which is a long, long time away. So stay patient. Don't get too excited. There's a long, long time to go still in the cycle.
The Coinbase ads, how good are they? Did you see these?
Yeah, how bullish. They're movie quality. It's like cinematography, movie 30-second ads. It just hits home, mate, right in the field.
They specifically target housing, where it's 1960s, you sign a mortgage, you get a house. 1970s, same thing. 80s, all the way. And then it's 2020, have multiple jobs, get a mortgage, have multiple people sharing your house. It was just, it's opt out of that system and opt into ours. And then the Coinbase logo just appears. These ads are phenomenal. And it really hits the current culture around fairness, getting ahead. I do the work, but I can't have what my parents had. housing is just absolutely mental. I'm getting eaten in fees, in tax, in interest. And crypto offers a way to actually get ahead, to leapfrog that. And these guys have just nailed that marketing and nailed the culture and feeling among the majority of young people at the moment.
Yeah, man, it's all about shifting to this new world. That's the idea of collective shift, and we're collectively moving and shifting to a new future. And, that's so exciting because we're on the cusp of one of the greatest revolutions, financial, technological, social revolutions, probably in our lifetime. And that's pretty fucking cool.
And it takes a lot of time. Like, Saylor was saying politicians have to say things like 57 times before people hear it once.
Yeah.
People harp on about stuff for years. And I don't know why in the world we're in now, where you have this emerging technology, we immediately think it's going to be adopted and change and take over everything. That's not the way the world works. We have entrenched institutions. We've got policies, we've got law, we've got frameworks, and we've got heaps of people that have vested interest in what they're doing today. We also have people that are busy and can't understand this stuff. It takes decades for this to come through and for it to actually implement that meaningful change. Just because it hasn't happened doesn't mean it's not going to be a thing. It's definitely going to be a thing. There are so many people behind it. Give it some time. And if you're listening to this podcast, it's almost like a meme, but you are early to this. It is still difficult to buy Bitcoin compared to other things. Take advantage of that.
I couldn't have said it better myself. And if you want to take advantage of it, we're actually hosting a live masterclass next week, the 14th of December, 2023, and also the 15th of December, 2023, on how to fix your portfolio and profit from this upcoming bull market. Completely free. It's live. We've already got nearly close to 300 registrations, which is absolutely awesome. We're going to drop the link in the description below. I'll be there. Our head of research, Matt, will be there. We're going to be walking through how to create a portfolio strategy, what sectors you should be looking at, what we're doing with our money, and really how to get out near the top of this cycle. We're going to be walking through a lot of that on our live call, completely free. So we'll drop the link below. Would love to see you there. Bergs, do you have any final thoughts on the bull market being confirmed?
Mate, I just love to be in the bull market. It makes everything easier, and it's a kind of sweet feeling where everyone told me I was an idiot for investing in and working in crypto. And look, now it's all coming my way. I saw something they didn't, and now it's actually happening. And it's a really good feeling, because a lot of the time you start to wonder, like, am I a dickhead? Am they right? Are they right? And those thoughts have really gone, and now it's been confirmed. And join up on that webinar. It is free. And I can actually recommend this very, very highly, because Ben did a talk at the Oz Crypto Convention. It was packed out, 300 people there seated, probably another 150 standing behind. Incredibly captivating talk. And Ben has now taken that, and everyone came up and talked to us about it at the end, like it was nonstop. We lost our voices. And we've taken that talk. We're now adding Matt into the mix, and we're expanding it and making it look just better, more succinct, and more valuable. So get amongst that. It's a free webinar. Just jump in there. Get your life right.
We'll see you there, guys. Thanks so much. Thank you for listening. Bring on the bull market. See you next time, Bergs.
Bring on the bull market. See you, champions.